On Wednesday, President Clinton, acting on a request from Governor Ventura and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, declared portions of northern Minnesota a disaster area. The declaration releases federal dollars to repair damage caused by ferocious July 4th storms that caused millions of dollars in damage. Residents and business owners in 3 northeast Minnesota counties could qualify for the federal grants and loans. Included in the disaster declaration are municipalities in Aiken, Cass, Clay, Cook, Hubbard, Itasca, Lake, and St. Louis counties. Well, here to tell us who qualifies and how to apply for the assistance is Mark Harper, spokesman for the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And I think that I just misspoke. Some of those counties that I mentioned, are all of those included in?
All of those counties are included in the President's Major Disaster Declaration for assistance to local governments.
Okay.
Costs for things like damages to roads and bridges, debris removal, overtime for the police and firefighters, those kind of costs are covered in all 8 counties. For residents and business owners in the counties of Cook, Itasca, and St. Louis are also eligible to apply for assistance.
What kind of assistance is available then? Could you break it down for those 3 counties especially, which have had the hardest damage?
The first thing that we want to do for those individuals that have suffered damages is make sure that they have a safe, sanitary, and secure living environment. They may be eligible for housing assistance, either in the form of rental assistance if they're displaced from their homes, or if they can make minimal repairs to make their homes livable again, they may be eligible for a temporary housing minimal repair grant. So that's the first thing. The way that they get into our system is by calling our toll-free teleregistration number, which is 1-800-462-9029. And that number is available from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. It will be open over the weekend. We'll be working 7 days a week until further notice.
Are there specific types of damage that qualifies and other types that definitely would not qualify for this assistance?
Well, we're talking about people's primary residences is the first thing.
So cabin damage, for instance, would not be covered?
Not by our programs, no,
Okay.
It would not. So it's just the primary residence. We want to make sure that people have a safe, sanitary living environment.
And how about tourism-affected businesses? Is that entered into the federal relief grants or loans for those who rely heavily on the tourism trade and who've lost a great deal of revenue?
One of our federal partners in the disaster recovery operation is the Small Business Administration. And yes, they do offer low-interest loans to business owners, both for physical damages to the business as well as for economic injury loss.
Now, you mentioned the 800 number that people can call. Do you have offices set up or places that people can physically go to talk to you if they need more information?
We will be announcing in the upcoming days some disaster recovery centers, which is where individuals can come and meet someone face-to-face. The important thing at this point is that the only way that people can register and get into our system is by calling that 800 number.
Mm-hmm. And the 800 number, again, was just up on our screen.
Good.
And so hopefully people have had plenty of opportunity to look at it, and we'll start giving you calls and maybe get some assistance, because folks have been suffering up here.
Right. I would mention that as of close of business yesterday, we had already received 131 calls. So the word is getting out. We appreciate your help in getting the word out.
Oh, all right. Well, Mark, thank you so much for coming in. Good luck with distributing all of that money.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if you have a comment about something on this week's show, dial 218-724-0070 and leave a message on our answering machines.
Or if you prefer, if you're a real techie, you can leave an email message, like we know Julie is, email message to almanacn@wdse.org.
And I am a techie. I email our producer all the time.
That's all the time we have. Thanks once again to all of our guests and to you for joining us. For Julie and the crew here at Almanac North, I'm Darren Danielson. Have a cool weekend.
broadcast of Almanac North is made possible by support from the Iron Mining Association of Minnesota, investing in new technology and equipment today to ensure a strong, competitive industry tomorrow. The Northland Foundation, addressing the economic, social, and human needs of the rural seven-county area of northeastern Minnesota, building a strong foundation for the future of our region. Lake Country Power, proud to be a touchstone energy partner, providing customer service and commitment to the communities they serve. They have the power of human connections. The Muriel Whiteside Charitable Trust. Lake Superior Magazine, bringing you quality products about Lake Superior and the Great Lakes through books, magazines, travel guides, maps, and calendars. And by the Duluth News Tribune, the newspaper of the Northland.
FEMA is handing out grants and loans in all different shapes and sizes. They are in western Minnesota doing just that.
There's a wide range of disaster programs available to individuals affected by the flooding. The first thing that we want to do is make sure that people have a safe, secure home.
FEMA has the money machine rolling. They passed out over $24 million in housing grants and low-interest loans. Close to 11,000 Minnesotans have applied. Close to 10,000 have been accepted. If you've been accepted by floods, there's still time. The deadline for an application is June 7th.
The important thing about the application deadline of June 7th is to call that 800 number by that date.
And if you'd like to apply, you can call 1-800-462-9029 for more information. Well, outside, we've seen some
Officials are in town reminding people that help is out there for tornado victims. They were talking to people at today's March of Dimes in Decatur. Temporary housing, repair money, low-interest loans, and unemployment assistance are all available to those hard hit. FEMA community relation teams are also in Macon and Champaign counties taking a hands-on approach.
We do it by a number of means, going to meetings. We go into neighborhoods that are hit hard and go door to door, and we also try and get the word out through the media.
The 800 teleregistration number to call is 1-800-462-9029. Residents can call 1-800-462-7385.
Mark, for the editor in the studio, could you give us your name, your title, how you spell it, how you spell your name, and then we can get on with this?
Yeah, my name is Mark Harper, M-A-R-K-H-A-R-P-E-R, and I'm a public affairs officer with the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
And out of curiosity, where are you based normally?
I'm out of the Region 5, which is headquartered in Chicago, the Midwest.
Do you live there?
I live in Florida.
In Florida?
Yes, I do.
Oh. Well, we really appreciate you coming all the way from Florida to help the people of Columbia.
Certainly.
It's a long ways. A lot of basic questions, a few specific ones. One of the basic questions, who's eligible for disaster assistance?
We encourage anyone who believes that they've suffered any damage as a result of Hurricane Alonzo to apply for assistance. There's a wide range of programs, and we don't want to make that anyone to self-determine if they're eligible or not. So we encourage anyone who feels that they have suffered damages to call our toll-free teleregistration number.
Okay. Some people have some very high expectations of disaster assistance, and other people really don't expect the government to do much at all. You know, who's right?
Well, as I said, we want anyone who is, believes that they've suffered any damage to apply for assistance. We do have a wide range of programs. Government can't make people whole, but we are here to assist in the recovery effort.
Okay. We've heard that there's some sort of a program that involves forcing property owners that live in flood areas to sell their property so that FEMA doesn't have to, provide disaster assistance in those areas anymore. Can FEMA actually do that? Can they force people to relocate and to sell their property and move somewhere else?
No, they can't. You're referring to a mitigation, or what we refer to as hazard mitigation. And that's a completely voluntary program as far as individuals are concerned. And it's a very competitive program. The state sets the priorities on what projects they want to fund, but as far as forcing people out of their homes, that's absolutely not done under the mitigation program. It's completely voluntary by individuals.
A lot of people would be glad to hear that. Another thing that people would be glad to hear would be the sound of the mailman pulling up to their house with a check. And people are, you know, like most of us, used to dealing with the government and used to waiting for government to do things. How long will people be waiting for that mailman to make that delivery?
That's a good question. The first step in the recovery process is for people to apply for assistance, and they can do that by dialing 1-800-462-9029. And once they've made that phone call, that is their application. Within 7 to 10 days of applying for assistance, an inspector will come and visit their damaged dwelling. Within 7 to 10 days after the inspector has visited the damaged dwelling, they could expect, if they're eligible for assistance, they can expect to have a check in the mail.
So it sounds like somewhere a week, 2 weeks is not, at least that's a lot better than a month or two.
That's right.
The president has said that he's going to, he's ordered FEMA to make available at least $20 million. And there are people here in Columbia that think that that's just a drop in the bucket, no pun intended, but that $20 million is not going to be enough. And if that's all the president's willing to provide, then there's got to be some process for getting more money. Could you respond as to what's FEMA's position on that?
There are a lot of estimates that have been made as far as how much assistance is required for the state of Columbia. I can assure your viewers that regardless of how much money it takes, anyone who is eligible for disaster assistance will be helped.
So the $20 million figure is not something that people have to worry about.
That's correct.
Mark, is there anything else that I failed to ask you think is important for our newsroom to know about, or for the viewers to know about?
We do have 7 disaster application centers open in your viewing area. We encourage people to either apply by going to one of those centers, or the quickest, simplest way for them to apply is by dialing that 800 number, 1-800-462-9029. We also have a TTY number for the speech and hearing impaired. That number is 1-800-462-7585. We encourage all of your viewers to apply for assistance.
Okay. Well, I did think of one other question. You know, a few years ago, Hurricane Trixie came through here, and a lot of people have been asking about whether Alonzo is worse or not. There was a fair amount of disaster assistance available after Trixie. Could you know, which one was worse?
It's you know, for individuals who've suffered traumatic losses like they have in both Hurricane Trixie and in Hurricane Alonzo, it's hard to compare which one was worse. You know, it depends on how it affects the individual. So we really don't get into comparing which one was worse. They're both devastating in their own ways.
Okay, good. Well, Mark, thank you very much for coming by the station. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be talking with you some more.
Okay, thanks. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, I wanted to thank you all for coming, spending part of your busy day with us today. This is going to serve as sort of a training course for all of the your casework staff that is going to be handling inquiries from disaster victims, and sort of a refresher course for those of you that went through Hurricane Alonzo last year. Included in the packets that I believe all of you have is a contact sheet with the name of each of the congressional liaison officers that respond to your office, with our phone numbers, pager numbers, and cellular phone numbers. And I want to stress to you that we're available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We want to serve as your one-stop shop for any disaster inquiries. Included in the packet is information on the National Flood Insurance Program, as well as some other handouts, including